brittle in one. Hey y'all, it's April and thanks for stopping by my Crazy Creative Life Christmas edition. In today's video, we are making peanut brittle. Okay, first thing, you really need a heavy bottom, thick bottom pot if you're going to try to make candy of any kind. The smaller, the thinner aluminum pots, a lot of times they don't hold up to the heat and they can actually burn. So you really need a thick bottom pot. This is a Faberware, however you say that. I got this at Walmart many years ago, but still, you need like a heavy bottom, thick bottom pot to be able to do this candy in. All right, so you need 2 cups of sugar, granulated sugar. So there's 1, 2. Then you're going to need a cup of this light Karo syrup. You want the light one, not the dark one, but it's just corn syrup. Okay, so you want 1 cup of that. All right, you also need 1/3 cup of water. Okay, you're going to turn your burner on high. You want to give that a good stir to try to get all that incorporated. All right, the next thing you need is a thermometer. Preferably a candy thermometer, that way you can clip it on the side of your pot and it just sits there and stays there while it's cooking and boiling or whatever, and tells you the temperature. Or there's also the other little, I've got one somewhere of those. There's also these candy thermometers. They're a little cheaper than it's a little bright. They're a little cheaper than the ones that clip on the side. I don't have that type of candy thermometer. I got this one, and then I also have an instant read thermometer, like what you can use. I mean, it reads candy just as well as anything else, but it's the kind that you can poke in meat and it reads meat and that and this and that and the other. So anyway, with this, it starts out super slow. If you've never made candy before, it starts out super slow, and I'll get back to the stove here and stir. Actually, it will now. At first it goes slow. You just sitting there watching it. You'll stir it occasionally. Then once it starts going fast, then you have to move fast. That's why I want to go ahead and kind of tell you everything now, just in case I don't have time to tell you during the action. But to begin with the sugar, which was 2 cups of sugar, the 1 cup of cornstarch, and the 1/3 cup of water, we're going to let that get to the temperature of 250. Once it gets to 250, and I think 250 is the soft, firm ball. So it's not quite hard yet, but it's not soft either. Like if you know how to do the ball drop in the water, you just take a drop of your candy and drop it in some cold water, and then you feel the hardness of that ball. Okay, is it soft? Is it sort of firm? Is it, cracky, hard like candy? But that's all that's talking about. But 250 is firm ball stage. So we're going to let this get to 250. Then we're going to add our nuts. It's 16 ounces of peanuts. You can either use the dry roasted peanuts, or she said you can even use raw peanuts. I always use the dry roasted. Then, and I actually need to get them. And 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to use 16 ounce peanuts, a teaspoon of salt. We're going to pour that in there, stir it back up. Then this time we want our temperature to get up to 295 degrees, 295. Then once it reaches 295 degrees, you're going to take it off the burner. You're going to quickly add 2 teaspoons of butter. So it's almost a pat of butter, but 2 teaspoons of butter and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Baking soda, the one that's in the orange. The baking soda actually is what aerates it. It gives it that puffy, where it kind of blows it up and makes it's crispy yet airy, that kind of texture of what, good peanut brittle is. That's why it's the baking soda that's in it. So anyway, I'll kind of talk to you along as I'm going, but just in case I fail to say something, if I'm trying to rush, then hopefully I have covered it all now. So let's get back to the stove. Let's watch this until it reaches 250 degrees. Once it starts boiling, you don't want to do a whole lot of stirring. You'll stir it occasionally, but you don't want to do a whole lot. And then, I don't know if you can see too much right in there. Let me see if I can pull you in enough to help you see. Okay, right there. Okay, right in there. And it's all over here too. You'll see like sugar crystals. So what you want to do is just take your pastry brush and a little bit of water and just kind of knock them back down. You do that with about any kind of candy you're making, but especially if it's a caramel type candy. This is the dry roasted peanuts, and it is 16 ounces. I don't know if you can see it or are able to tell, but that color is starting to change just a little bit. Okay, this is $2.25. Also, it's important to not to ever touch the bottom of the pan when you're trying to take the temperature. Sometimes I'll touch the bottom of the pan and then pull it up. That way I know how close I am to the bottom. We're almost there. We're at 230. I like the instant read thermometer much better. Okay, we're at 240. And in the meantime, you want to get everything ready. Like you want to open up your peanuts. You want to get them ready. You want to make sure that your salt is ready and within reach. You want to make sure, I need to get my baking soda and butter. But you also want to make sure that you get a pan, a sheet pan, and put a parchment paper on it, or wax paper with the shiny side up. But parchment paper is your best bet. Do not use aluminum foil because it will stick to aluminum foil. But get your sheet pan with your parchment paper ready, so that way when you can, and run everybody out of the kitchen, that way when this is done and you got to go run with it, then nobody's in your way and nobody's going to get hurt. See it in the video or not, but it's starting to change color. It's not quite amber yet, but you can tell it's starting to change a little bit of color. It's 246. We're just about there. Okay, we're there at 250. So I'm going to add the nuts in. And my salt. Now, obviously, it's going to cool back down. And probably by this point, you want some kind of a silicone. Now, we're looking for it to get to 295. Okay, we're at 260. I'm going to go ahead and take my camera over to my countertop. That way, whenever I take off running, you can see me pour it. And all I'm going to do, once this gets to 295, I'll take it off the stove. Then we're adding the butter and the baking soda. And I've got my baking soda right there, and my butter also is over here. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see that good. I don't know, but you should. See, I've got my parchment paper ready here on my big old cookie sheet, and it's my super duper one. All right, now you got a sticky mess in your pan. The best way to do that is either soak it in hot water. I've even put water in it and then let it boil on the stove, and that helps to release some of that stickiness. So once this gets completely cold, then we'll just break it, and that's all there is to that. All right, here's the fun part. I think it's ready. Yeah. Then you just break it into pieces. You also do not want to store this in the refrigerator because you want to keep it away from moisture. Because if it's around, the more moisture it's around, then the stickier it's going to get. Look how pretty. All right. There you go. What'd you think about that? It's fairly easy. You just have to really be on your game. You cannot let anything distract you when you're trying to make that. And honestly, it went from what was I, 280, 290 something? Or no, what was I supposed to go to? Yeah, 295. And that thing went from like, I don't know, it was 280 something or 285 or, I mean, just up to 300 within no time. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm hoping these aren't a little bit too crispy, but I think they're okay. So anyway, like I said, you want to store these in an airtight container away from any moisture. You do not want them stored in your fridge. But that's all for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned a little something about how to make peanut brittle, or at least it was entertaining. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Hit the notification bell too, because I plan on bringing a lot more Christmas videos between now and Christmas. Don't know how many, but I'm going to try to do as many as I possibly can. And there will be more stuff coming out. And then also, February will be my 1 year. It's hard to believe, but February will be my 1 year. I'm trying my best to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, why not? Go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. Share the video out. Share it to your friends. You might have some friends that want to see this, but go ahead and help a girl out. So anyway, turn on the notification bells. And I think that's all I was saying. But I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. If you like this video, be sure and watch my previous Christmas video, and you may also want to check out my 13 Snacks of Halloween. Talk to you soon.